The Caucasus is not just a place between continents. It is a place between empires, religions, trade routes, and identities. And that is what makes Yerevan, Tbilisi, and Baku such fascinating capitals. Hey there! Welcome back to Cities in a Blink, where we uncover the stories behind the world's cities, one blink at a time. This is How Did That City Become the Capital? Our journey through the political hearts of nations. And as we continue this journey, we're not only looking at how cities became capitals, but also what makes them worth knowing today, the cool facts, local identity, and places to look for if you visit. Today, we're heading into the Caucasus, Europe's bridge to Asia, to explore how Yerevan, Tbilisi, and Baku became the capital cities of Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan. Let's begin with Yerevan. Yerevan's capital story is not about sudden power, it is about memory. Armenia is one of the world's oldest Christian civilizations, with a national identity shaped by language, faith, survival, and homeland. Yerevan became important because it could carry that identity into the modern state. The city has ancient roots, connected to the old fortress of Yerevan, but for much of history, Armenian political life was shaped by larger empires and shifting borders. Yerevan passed through Persian, Ottoman, and Russian spheres of influence. It was not always the grand capital of an independent state, but in the 20th century, that changed. As modern Armenia emerged, Yerevan became the political center. During the Soviet period, it was transformed into a planned capital with broad avenues, public squares, and pink volcanic stone buildings that gave the city a distinct visual identity. And when Armenia became independent again in 1991, Yerevan remained the capital. So, why Yerevan? Because it became the city where ancient Armenian identity met modern Armenian statehood. It was not just a government seat, it became a place of national memory. And if you visit Yerevan today, that identity is everywhere. Look for the view of Mount Ararat, which sits across the border, but remains one of the strongest symbols in Armenian imagination. Visit the Cascade, where the city opens upward in terraces. And visit the Matnadaran, where ancient manuscripts show how deeply Armenia's identity is tied to language, learning, and faith. Yerevan is a capital that feels like memory turned into a city. Now to Tbilisi. If Yerevan is memory, Tbilisi is movement. Tbilisi sits in a valley along the Kura River, surrounded by hills and watched over by old fortresses. For centuries, it stood on routes connecting the Black Sea, Persia, Russia, Anatolia, and Central Asia. That made it valuable. Tbilisi was taken, burned, rebuilt, and reshaped by different powers. Persians, Arabs, Mongols, Russians, and others all left marks on the city. But Tbilisi did not become important because one empire fully defined it. It became important because it kept absorbing layers. In medieval Georgia, Tbilisi became a royal capital and a center of political life. Later, under Russian rule, it grew into the main administrative and cultural city of the Caucasus region. By the time modern Georgia became independent, Tbilisi was already the obvious political and cultural heart of the country. So, why Tbilisi? Because it became the place where Georgia connected with the wider world. A city of roots, a city of crossings, a city that kept rebuilding itself without losing its character. And if you visit Tbilisi today, the city still feels like a meeting point. Look for the Sulphur Bath District, where the city's name is linked to warm springs. Walk through the old town, where wooden balconies hang above narrow streets. Then look up at the hills, the fortress, and the modern bridges. Tbilisi does not feel like one single layer of history. It feels like many histories living in the same valley. And then there's Baku. Baku's capital story begins with wind, water, and oil. Set on the Caspian Sea, Baku was different from the other two. It was not a mountain valley capital. It was a port. A city facing east and west across trade routes, empires, and energy. Its old walled city shows deep historical roots. But Baku's modern rise came from something beneath the ground, oil. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Baku became one of the great oil cities of the world. Wealth flowed in, industry grew, foreign investors arrived. The city expanded quickly, becoming more than an old Caspian port. It became an energy capital. That economic weight helped make Baku the political center of modern Azerbaijan. It served as the capital of the short-lived independent Azerbaijan Republic in the early 20th century, then remained central during the Soviet period, and after independence in 1991, it continued as the capital of Azerbaijan. So, why Baku? Because it combined location with energy. The Caspian gave it access, oil gave it power, and modern Azerbaijan built its political and economic center around that strength. If you visit Baku today, look for the contrast. The old walled city, with the Maiden Tower and the palace of the Shirvanshahs, the Caspian waterfront, the flame towers rising above the skyline. Baku is a capital where old stone walls and modern glass towers stand almost face to face. That contrast tells the story of the city. Ancient port, oil boom city, modern capital. Together, Yerevan, Tbilisi, and Baku show why the Caucasus is such a powerful bridge between Europe and Asia. Yerevan carries memory. Tbilisi carries movement. Baku carries energy. Each became a capital in a different way, but all three reflect the same regional truth. In the Caucasus, geography is never just background. Mountains shape identity, roots shape politics, seas and resources shape power, and capitals are not just chosen. They are formed by survival, connection, and the pressure of history. If you love discovering cities and the stories behind them, hit that subscribe button and join us for more adventures. Next up, we're moving into West Asia, beginning with Tehran, Iran, a capital shaped by empire, mountains, and modern power. Thanks for watching Cities in a Blink, where stories of cities come alive, one blink at a time.